Hello. Hey everybody, it's good to be back. We got Lance Armstrong, college football blunders, and the start of the NFL season coming up. Let's get it on. This is your sports check. What's up, y'all? You're looking healthy. Gotta start things off with a bang, so I'm gonna start with the worst play of college football's first weekend. Because I got high standards like that. If you haven't seen this play yet, you're in luck. Because I haven't seen futility like this in a while. Unless I go back to my first snowboarding lesson. Anyway, even if you have seen this video, I figured I'd spice it up a little for you.
Snap is high. This ball knuckles.
Stop. So at this point, the returner has muffed the punt, and this unfortunate individual has a free touchdown a mere 6 yards from the goal line. Or does he? Let's listen in.
Down. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He's running the
You're
wrong
going the wrong way. Holy moly.
Holy moly. But the senseless buffoonery doesn't end there. Heck no, it doesn't. If you haven't noticed, the other team has been trying to tackle this runaway caveman the entire time, effectively preventing him from scoring a safety for their team. SMH. What's even more amazing at this point is that Mr. Return Guy still hasn't figured out what's happened. So I'd like to present for you the moment of clarity. Here we go. I wonder what the coach is saying to you. Like, I hate you. You're an idiot. He was going to score for us. And here it comes. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh! This guy and the water boy are going to be the best of friends. This is a new segment on the show, and I created it because, quite frankly, some stories deserve my wrath. So when you hear, warning, incoming rant, you know it's about to go down. A couple of weeks ago, the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency stripped Lance Armstrong of every career win he had, including his 7 Tour de France titles. Warning, incoming rant, warning. The USADA has been after the champion cyclist for years, but never produced a positive test. Armstrong passed several hundred checks during his career, and they still dragged him into court years after his retirement. Lance did test positive during his first tour win in 1999 for corticosteroids, a form of steroids that don't enhance performance. They're for inflammation and to regulate your immune system. Armstrong produced a backdated doctor's prescription, but it's just one of those things that makes the agency suspicious. Right, it's not like the guy had cancer or anything. Another issue concerns blood test results a full 10 years later during his last years competing that were quote-unquote consistent with doping. But there's no positive test. No? So you still don't have any physical evidence? It's consistent, you guys! I'm super serial! Still, the agency persisted. But rather than fight the charges, Lance bowed out, exhausted from what he described as an unconstitutional witch hunt. The USADA claimed to have several witnesses that would testify on their behalf, even some of Lance's former teammates. One was Floyd Landis. You guys know Floyd. He was the last American cyclist to be stripped of his 1 Tour de France title. He vehemently denied his own doping charges, even writing a book and accepting funds for a foundation proclaiming his innocence, only to later admit he'd been doping his whole career. Sounds trustworthy. Hey Floyd, you mad? Another fellow teammate of Lance's named Tyler Hamilton was also willing to testify a full 7 years after his own positive test. At the time, Hamilton claimed his failed check was due to a vanishing twin that had died in utero during his birth. He confessed 5 years later. He had everybody fooled. Bottom line, without a positive drug test, I can't condemn Lance. His 7 tour wins are an unprecedented feat, not likely to be seen again. Must really get under his competition's skin. I mean, he wasn't supposed to win anything. He could have died, and he still whooped him. 7 times. I know why you're mad. Are you ready for some football? Wait, hold up. We can't use the Hank Jr. one. Why not? Because he thinks the president's a Muslim. He's a terrorizer. Anywho, with Wednesday's road win over the Giants, Dallas officially kicked off the 2012 regular season in the NFL. The NFL is a unique pro league in that contenders can pop up from just about anywhere. One year a team can spend a season in the cellar and the next surging through the playoffs. Translation? I have no confidence in my picks. I'm kidding, but this does figure to be one of the most competitive seasons in recent memory. Few teams have an easy path to the postseason. So let's start there, beginning with the AFC. In the South Division, no one has it easier than the Houston Texans. The Tennessee Titans and Indianapolis Colts are still rebuilding their past playoff form, while the Jacksonville Jaguars have struggled to stay competitive ever since the Tom Coughlin era ended in 2002. That wouldn't come back to haunt them or anything. Every other division in the AFC looks like a two-dog race. So you've got the Patriots and Jets in the East, the Broncos and Chargers in the West, and then you've got the Ravens and the Steelers battling it out in the North. And while there's no shortage of competitive firepower in the AFC, the NFC clearly takes the title of the league's toughest conference. The 49ers luck out in the West with the easiest division. They'll still have to contend with the upstart Seahawks, but as a team that only improved their standing in the offseason, I expect them to return to the playoffs. But that postseason will be littered with battle-tested teams who emerge from the toughest divisions in football. There's literally 3 teams in every other division that can see playoff glory. Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles pack out the NFC East. The Lions and Bears will try to end Green Bay's run in the North, while the Falcons and Saints will try to keep the Panthers from rising in the South. The key to any NFL season is to number 1, stay healthy, and number 2, get that crucial momentum going into the playoffs. Remember, the NFL is going on its 10th season in a row with a team winning the Super Bowl that didn't have the best regular season record. Overall, since 1990, only 6 teams have captured the best record and the Lombardi Trophy in the same year. Oddly enough, you never want your team doing too well. Being thankful for a couple of losses to keep your team grounded through November might actually work in your favor. Warning, this show is not responsible for the inevitable failure of your fantasy league. And that's the show for this week. Make sure you leave plenty of comments below the video on YouTube, Facebook, and tweet me something. And you guys might have noticed that I've started a new series on the Randall Sports Report here in Birmingham. So go to randallsportsreport.com and check us out every week. So until next time, I'm Seth Hagan, and this has been your Sports Check. Later. Man, knew I should have watched more Sports Check.